Oh, it's spoiler time. What's up, guys? I love Pencil here, and here we are to do a spoiler discussion of chapter 232 of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is known as The Battle Within the Demon-Infested Shinjuku, Part 10. And, I actually don't know if it's called that. Once again, I'm assuming Gege's lazy on the name, so I'm just taking a wild guess. And let's just say, last spoiler warning, if you happen to, I know some people just zone out. I've seen some of the comments sometimes. Some of y'all zone out at the start of videos. So spoilers, once again. When I tell you, whew, it is scrum-diddly-umptious. Scrum-diddly-umptious. Whew, this is a tasty chapter. I swear, this is fine dining. It's fine dining in 18 pages. I feel like I ate good early in the morning. Chef's kiss. Whew, let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into it. What's up, guys? I got the pencil here. Fun fact. I have it on me. I keep it on me at all times. Another fun fact. Gojo's him. Gojo's him. And I don't... This chapter has a lot of people being like, the battle's over. Gojo's done. Gojo, he got cut one time. Chill. Who's knocked out? Who's knocked out by the end of this chapter? Just let me know who's knocked out. But regardless, it was actually opposite of the chapter itself. So open up. We do get to see that Mahoraga's wheel. It keeps on spinning. It keeps on spinning. And once again, the nature of the adaptation of the wheel is a little bit weird to me. Like, I guess it just adapts to the entire Limitless, because I still don't get how it's adapting to a defensive technique. Right? It doesn't seem like, what is the Infinity doing offensively? Like, is it just because it's there? Like, because it's hard to think of like an equivalent, because the Infinity is so oddly specific. Like, it's the manifestation of a concept, but like, that's like saying I raise up a fire shield, and then now Mahoraga's adapting to fire, even though I'm just defending myself with fire. Like, well, I guess, but fire's offensive. That's the thing. The neutral Infinity doesn't actually do any damage. In fact, it's just a neutralization of damage. So I'm not entirely sure. It appears that it's just like everything Limitless-wise is being adapted, which is, once again, I feel like that's weird. I don't know. I mean, I'll rock with it. And I mean, anything to get Mahoraga in the fight. Like, notably, one of my biggest complaints with this battle is that we are not getting enough Ten Shadows. Like, and I know the last 3 chapters have been centered around, well, realistically, like, the last 4 chapters have been centered around the 10 Shadows. But, like, other than, well, I guess not even other than, just more 10 Shadows. We went out of our way setting up this whole series-long plot twist of Sukuna getting this new body, and he's barely been using the ability he went to go and steal, so I'm happy that we're getting more of it. Does it still feel a little bit wonky to me? Yes, but I guess this is just simply Mahoraga adapts to everything within a technique, regardless of how many times you hit it with something different. Which, once again, does kind of make me wonder, why? Well, here's the thing, I get it. I get why Gojo's still holding back. Because, like, what I was going to ask is, why not use purple? Why not use purple? Because I'm agreeing with y'all now. I do think the wheel is just indestructible. Like, that's the reason Gojo hasn't just, and like, try to tear it apart. Like, maybe the wheel is just like a set part of the 10 Shadows technique. To destroy it, you need to like literally destroy the 10 Shadows, which may be impossible for even Gojo. But like, considering if it's gonna adapt to everything anyway, why not just hit it with a perp? Because if it's gonna adapt to the whole general Limitless technique, you want to go strong, you want to go juicy, you want to go powerful. And at least in the base Limitless, the 3 main Limitless techniques, well, they're technically 4 in the neutral Limitless, but in blue, red, and purple, purples are the strongest, so why not use purple? But once again, I'm assuming half of that's because he doesn't want to accelerate the adaptation with a stronger attack, and the other half is, once again, he knows that Sukuna will actually take damage from purple, like lethal damage from purple, because he still wants to save Megan, which is ultimately the biggest thing. Like, if this was anyone else, heck, I legit believe if this was even Yuji's body, I think Gojo would care a little bit less. Like, being completely honest with you. I think if this was anyone but his own son, he would have been like, I don't know, bro. It's for the greater good. And he immediately hit him with the purple. But we do get to see that everyone is naturally a bit worried because the wheels just keeps on spinning and Gojo's doing anything but like hurrying it up. He better hop up in the kitchen real quick and get that wrist whipping if he's really going to get Sukuna up out of here before Mahoraga can get summoned. Then once again, very, very interesting that Mahoraga is like a... It's weird for me to say that Mahoraga's a threat. If it's in one-shot range, if it is in one-shot range, right now, before it fully adapts, what stops Gojo from just grabbing the thing, dropping it in Taiwan, and coming back? Would it be able to resist the teleportation? Because that's part of the Limitless too. I don't know. Like what stops Gojo? And even if, because once again, we got to remember, the wheel only adapts for Mahoraga, as far as we know. It's not making Sukuna immune to the Limitless at all. It's just all for Big Daddy Mahoraga. So even if Mahoraga spawns in and starts wiling out, what stops Gojo from just behind Mahoraga, grabs Sukuna by the back of the neck, gone? Like, Mahoraga's fast, don't get me wrong, gonna probably just chase him. But still, is it gonna be able to chase him like halfway across the planet? How far? Well, to be fair, how far is Gojo's long distance teleportation, especially while he's brain damaged? But still, I feel like there are ways around Mahoraga. Though admittedly, once again, Mahoraga does have that really weird speed feat of being able to show up and stab Unlimited Void before Gojo can even react and hit him with a red. So maybe Mahoraga's just faster now? I genuinely don't know. I genuinely have no idea. If it is the same Mahoraga, it's just uniform, then it shouldn't be faster. But that one speed feat's weird, so maybe it is faster. I don't know, it's a weird thing. But I feel like Mahoraga, he is a threat, don't get me wrong. He even manages to do something at the end of this chapter that has every single Gojo fan shaking and quivering in their boots. But I don't know, I got faith in the strongest. I'm just chilling. I'm big chilling right now. I don't know why. I've seen the stress, because once again, I woke up. Well, it's not the first of the month, but I woke up, I was looking around, because leaks were, everyone was ready for leaks to drop yesterday, but they didn't drop until today, and ultimately, I already seen people, no, Gojo-san, but like, once again, one of them is knocked out. However, we do get to see that Gojo is still specifically using the basic level of the Limitless. He is throwing around blues, and once again, I get it. But that's the thing. If it's gonna adapt to everything anyway, like, I wonder, here's the thing. I wonder if it is like a tiering system, right? Like, yes, Gojo adapts to, or no, Mahoraga, it adapts to blue. And then, like, things that are above blue in the tiering system, like the neutral Limitless, like red, like purple, like, well, a Limited Void is already adapted to. But stuff like that. Things in the tiering system, I wonder if there's like levels of adaptation to it. So by the time Mahoraga pops out at the end of this chapter, is it just super immune to blue? Like, it took a bunch of Unlimited Voids earlier, or Megabe's Soul took a bunch of Unlimited Voids for the adaptation, making Mahoraga immune. So it has like tier 5 or whatever, because it's 5 spins, right? So it has like tier 5 Unlimited Void and blue defense, but only has like tier 3 or tier 4 red defense, and then tier 3 or tier 2 purple defense, and then maybe, you know, we're seeing a lot in this battle, especially by the end of this chapter. We're seeing a lot in this battle, but remember, neither of these characters have remotely gotten close to pulling out a maximum, so we still don't know what Gojo's maximum is. Someone may be whipping a video in the kitchen about that right now, so this seems so timely. But still, I wonder how the levels of resistance work. If Mahoraga is just totally immune to all Limitless now, because he took the peak of it, and then he took the bottom of it, and then everything in between kind of just got filled out. Or if he's still susceptible to a little bit of that super special sauce. But regardless, we do get to see that Gojo wraps his hands in that juicy old blue and starts tearing through the environment. But once again, Sukuna's like, dog, who do you think I am? I will give credit to Sukuna. He is still big cheesing, because once again, he has no real reason to feel threat from any, like, maybe he has reason to feel threat from like blue itself, but all the collateral damage that Gojo's causing means nothing to him. Like, he is still nigh on indestructible. Don't get me wrong. I have a video in the works, especially. I'm glad I waited to do the Sukuna fraud video. Something in my heart of hearts said, wait till chapter 232. Just wait a little bit longer. And who knows, maybe something in chapter 233 will make it even worse, but it's in the kitchen. I got the suit right over there. Lawyer pencil's gonna come out the closet. Well, not like that. Not like that. But regardless, we do get to see that Gojo goes, all right, let's get a little bit fancy. And he wiggles those magical fingers around, and he creates blue all around Sukuna. Like 1, 2, ironically enough, is that only 8? Yeah, he creates 8 orbs. So I guess he's using just the fingertips to make the orbs, which is weird to think about. But he creates 8 blue orbs, and Sukuna, who's wall sticking right now, he is just chilling on the wall. He proceeds to avoid all the orbs that kind of like close in on him, which is very, very interesting. I wonder, like, what's stopping Gojo from just pointing and spawning an orb directly on Sukuna? Like, he always spawns them at a range. But I suppose, like, would the attraction not work then? Because we know blue is attraction, red is repelling. So, like, if he spawned it right on Sukuna, would it, like, not do anything? I don't know. It seems weird. However, we do get to see that maybe Gojo's just in the kitchen, wrist to whipping, as a whole bunch of debris fly around, and Gojo begins to wall stick, and we see him grab Sukuna. And we see that apparently this is one where Sukuna's, here's the thing. I believe personally that Sukuna is very similar to the Heavenly Restriction users. Someone else brought this up. This is not an original idea of my own, but we've seen Sukuna do a lot of things that they seem to be able to do. Read the environment really, really well. Air hop, which is something that Sukuna shouldn't be able to do. He doesn't have flight in his kit, but he's able to air hop just like the Heavenly Restriction users. And in the last chapter alone, he whipped out that weird precog where, despite being blitzed by a whole bunch of Gojos, he knew exactly where the real one was. So, like, I think he has precog, but it seems like Gojo was able to... Because, let's see, Gojo lunges in from behind him, Sukuna's blind spot. Sukuna seems to react with a kick, but Gojo manages to actually catch the darn kick, and then kick Sukuna himself, leaving an actual decent gash in him, which is pretty impressive. This is like the first... I mean, who knows? Maybe, once again, it was enhanced with blue or something like that. But I think this is the first, like, just plain old hit-looking kind of thing. Well, no. He did punch him in the chest. So maybe this is probably enhanced by blue, but still, this is one of the only kicks that has done like extreme damage to Sukuna. Like, he actually does have a bit of a gash in his side. However, the wheel keeps on turning, which is, and I'm wondering, is it adapting to the blue that Gojo used to enhance his kick, or is it adapting to the neutral infinity because the neutral infinity just interacted with Sukuna? I don't know. And once again, it makes me wonder, could Mahoraga adapt to something like the prison realm or barrier techniques if it just kept headbutting itself against them? I don't know. It feels like it can, because if it's able to adapt to the neutral limitless, which is literally just the manifestation of a concept of neutrality, what's stopping it from adapting to, I don't know, any sort of barrier or seal anyway, and just being able to... If it can already pop barriers, what's going to stop it from popping a flesh barrier, which is what the prison realm was? I don't know. But with that being the case, we do get to see that with this penultimate spin, there is one spin left. And with that being the case, we see everyone start to freak out, because naturally, if there's one spin left, then Gojo, his wrist ain't whipping. He's currently in the pot being cooked. And with that being the case, Yuji asks an interesting question. He's like, well, wait, how does it adapt? Does it adapt like it takes an attack and then it spins? Or does it adapt by taking an attack, reading the attack, getting that juicy download DNA, and then adapting after a little bit? And I clown on Kashimo. Well, Kusakabe theorized a little bit, but I love how Kashimo is like, I don't care how it adapts, as long as it do adapt. And admittedly, this is a bit of a weird point in the chapter, or at least, I mean, I guess it makes sense once, right? Because unless Ui does have teleportation, they have no way to get there quickly. But like, y'all, if y'all were this worried, why didn't one of y'all try and hop in? Like, at least, I'd say, especially at this point, since Angel's practically useless, send Hana out there and just have her be on the sidelines in case, you know, there's someone with a super powerful technique that could use their technique and negate it. Sukuna. Just drop. While Mahoraga comes out, drop Jacob's ladder on Mahoraga's head, and Mahoraga's cooked. Yuta, you're telling me you had a whole month and you didn't learn Angel's technique? Slide that little ring on there, buddy. You get all the way over there. Use your copy of the Limitless to teleport over there and then drop Angel's ladder on top of his head. Like all y'all could do a little bit more. But we do get to see that, well, Kusakabe is saying that Gojo's only using blue, so hopefully it's a attack by attack thing. Kashima's like, could be a 50-50. We don't really know. Which is, it's true. It's true. Like, it's very interesting that the Ten Shadows is such a prominent technique, but, like, it's not so prominent that everyone actually knows about it. Like, they're kind of just taking guesses in the dark. And we see that Kashima... Yo, shout outs to these birds, bro. Like, somehow, some way, these crows keep up with the battle. Like, Gojo and Sukuna are moving at speeds unparalleled, most likely within the series. Yet these black birds are able to keep up. Yo, are they just burning their lifespan away? How are they this fast? Because you literally see they get torn through a building, and Sukuna's rolling, Gojo's leaping in after him, and the birds are like, bird, I gotta get him, bird, please. And they're keeping up. But we do get to see that Gojo's seeing something. Once again, I mean, I'm just reading the raw, so I have no idea what he's seeing. But with that being the case, we see that after all this, after essentially conditioning Sukuna, fun fact, well, if you play a fighting game, you know this, but conditioning is essentially just making your opponent believe that in X situation, you will do this. And all that Gojo's been doing is conditioning. For an example, I play Trunks in Dragon Ball FighterZ. What I usually do is annoyingly condition my opponents that I'm simply going to do neutral ki blast from halfway across the screen. It never works. Like, in the rare time it does work, I can never react in time, but I always just do that. So they think, okay, if this man's full screen, he's gonna just neutral ki blast me. He's gonna just boop. And usually that'll get them the super dash. So I will either 2H them or hit them with a Masenko. So if you ever fight me in fighters, know I'm trying to condition you. And all that Gojo's been doing is throwing out blue. Something extremely non-threatening, just like Trunks' neutral ki blast. He's like, hey, I know this ain't going to do much damage. I know it's pretty much worthless, but I've got him thinking that I'm only going to use blue. So when I whip out a little something special on him, he going to get caught lacking. It's going to be scrumdiddlyumptious. And we do get to see that with that being the case, he starts to whip out something special. But unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, who knows, it appears that Sukuna is a little bit too wise to tricks like that. We see the wheel go black, the technique being shut down, and through the pillar that Gojo slid behind to hide what hand sign he was doing, Gojo whips out, is that another... What's with all these... Yo, I wonder if, how am I forgetting the writer of Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho's name? Togashi. I wonder if Togashi is like getting any royalties for this, because I swear this is another Hunter x Hunter reference. Not a Hunter x Hunter. It's specifically a reference to Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm pretty sure because it's that same thing. It looks like the spirit Spligaki, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, I swear. But we do get to see that through the pillar, Gojo launches off with a Curse Technique Reversal Red. However, Sukuna, he does raise his arms up in time, he does turn the wheel off in time, and he does manage to block it. Very interesting, though. I wonder why. Well, I guess we know that Sukuna can take damage from red, but, like, dude, just eat it. You can still heal. Like, if everything else is still available to you, the only part of your brain that's damaged is, you know, I don't know, your domain. Dude, you can just heal this off. In fact, you probably want to adapt to stronger variations of the Limitless. Because once again, does Sukuna even fully... I mean, I suppose he would know, right? Because he's doing things with the wheel that we've never seen done with the wheel before. But, like, does Sukuna even know how the adaptation works? Wouldn't you want to take a point-blank red with the wheel above your head so it's an easier adaptation? The stronger version of the Limitless, the better. Then again, we've seen that after only a couple slashes, I believe a dismantle and a cleave, Mahoraga was able to generally attack... Well, no, kind of, sort of. It mostly managed to adapt to slashing attacks in general, or at least Shrine in general. And that's why after Malevolent Shrine, it was still mostly in one piece when it should have been torn apart. But we do get to see that the Reversal Red launched off fired off at maximum velocity. And we see that Gojo reads, and he's like, interesting. And with that being the case, it's revealed that Gojo did, in fact, hit Sukuna with the red, but domain amplification was used just in time in order to help defend. What do... I thought, I don't know, maybe I'm just confused. Does it just have a... So maybe maybe all right, but then again, why didn't it? I gotta sip on this. This is a little confusing to me. How? So domain amplification can just be used. I thought domain amplification was solely to be used to bypass neutral defensive techniques like the Limitless. But it can be used to defend against all variations of techniques? It's weird. I don't know how I feel about that. It feels a little bit weird. Oh, interesting. It's weird. For a moment there in the middle panel, it looks like Gege forgot to draw all of Sukuna's marks. So it actually looks a little Megami-esque there. He has the main mark on his forehead, though. But interesting that domain amplification is able to be used to somewhat neutralize the damage of red. Or just techniques in general. Very, very interesting. I don't know. It feels like a weird extrapolation on the technique. But hey, whatever. I mean, I guess you can do it. So now I genuinely wonder, because a lot of people have been saying you can use domain amplification to resist domain expansions. But I swear we've already seen that not work. Like we saw Jogo using domain amplification against Gojo way back in Shibuya, and he still got hit by Limited Void. So I want, like, when does the domain amplification stop being useful? Like, is it just domains? Can you not do it against domains? I don't know. But even with domain amplification, Sukuna still does take a lot of damage because it's the Limitless enhanced. Maybe it would have been able to face tank the neutral Limitless, but not the Limitless enhanced. Unfortunately, that was a little bit too far. However, we can see specifically in this little instance that, Gojo seemingly didn't take a proper opportunity. And Sukuna, once again, I don't Sukuna, bro, I mean, I guess it's just the trash talking him, but like, dog, you're in the furthest position to be talking trash right now, bro. I'm not saying he's getting washed or anything. I'm not that blind, but like, dude, you aren't in a, well, I suppose he's in an advantageous situation right now, and he is healing off the damage already. So, I'll let Sukuna talk his talk. And we see that he says, being sloppy and hesitating because your moves were red? Come on, Satoru. I thought you were better than this. And we see that Gojo's like, oh yeah, I am better than that. And from nowhere, from around town, Sukuna gets slammed by Gojo's red from behind. He got red back. Sukuna's 1,000 years old. I can make that joke, right? He got the RCT back shots and was slammed by red. And notably, shockingly enough, despite having the wheel turned back on, the wheel turned back on and domain amplification off, he actually eats this very, very well. Like, we don't get to see how much damage it does to his back realistically, but like, he does pretty good for getting off guarded by a red from behind. Interesting, I'll see what the official chapter says, but this does confirm like an offhand theory I had that I legit don't think sorcerers can sense RCT. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they can sense reverse curse technique if it's being used to fuel a technique. Like, I think that is something you just need to see. Because with Sukuna's precog and all of his cognition abilities, like, you would think this wouldn't be able to catch him off guard because it's such a powerful attack. But if it's RCT, it's not cursed energy. Maybe he's not attuned to sensing that. Maybe that's why he got hit. And apparently, Gojo looped red around the building to slam into the back of Sukuna. And here's where Gojo, he reaches deep into, when I talk about reaching deep into a bag, y'all, he reached deep into a bag and yanked out something we have not seen in, I think, literally 100 chapters. It has been years since we've seen this technique, so it's good to see that Gege's remembered it. Or, I suppose not a technique, this phenomena. Gojo reels back and slams his whole chest cavity with a black flash. Yo, I am genuinely shocked that Sukuna's chest is in one piece. Because you gotta remember, I mean, presumably Gojo did the thing, right? He did the thing where he enhanced himself with limitless blue to speed himself up. So, like, the fact that Sukuna, who we've seen, his chest has been caved in. Like, Gojo's fist has literally sunk into Sukuna's chest with something that isn't a Black Flash multiplier. The fact that Sukuna is still in one piece after getting hit by this Black Flash, it's a testament to bro's durability or Gege being a little bit inconsistent. Regardless, cracked dead in the chest. And we see everyone from Kashimo, who looks a little disappointed, which is funny to me, to Hikari, to Meimei, to Shoko, to Yuta hit the... Bro is genuinely bamboozled. Yuta's like, you close your mouth, dog. Close your mouth before something flies in it. Maki, Higuruma, Kusakabe, Choso, Angel, and finally Yuji Itadori. They all bear witness to the strongest proving himself, as Ryomen Sukuna has been cold-clocked, knocked out. Yeah. Yo, huh? Like, and here's the I genuinely wonder though, is he actually knocked out? Because what happens next doesn't make sense. How does it work? Like, is it pre-programmed? Did he say it and then we missed it? Is it in the official chapter and I missed it? How does what happens next happen next? Because this is like me knocking you out and then you hit me with a level 3. Like, I always relate it back to fighter because I feel like it's the easiest and most common means of communication. But, like, this is like, we're at the end of a match. It's you, me, 1v1. I'm playing Trunks. You're playing something. Let's say, I'll just give myself a horrible disadvantage. You're playing Z Broly. I managed to knock you out. I hit you with the mix-up. I hit you with it. I end it. And then you instantly, like, somehow, despite having 0 HP left, hit me with a raw level 3. Like, and then I immediately, well, not lose. I take a whole bunch of damage. Like, how? How? Because if he's knocked out here, his technique should just, poof, right? Like, then again, but that's the thing, that was the wild Mahoraga. That was a Mahoraga in the midst of a ritual, too, so Megami actually couldn't perish. Like, how does this happen? Because Gojo gets the knockout, which is crazy. Shout outs to the strongest sorcerer. Like, I get it, Sukuna's been acting a lot more reckless, so if Sukuna didn't have 10 shadows, he likely would have been approaching this battle in a much different way, and I believe that Sukuna without 10 shadows still can put up a very good fight against Gojo. Don't get me wrong. That may be the Sukuna glazer in me, that may be the Sukuna slopper, but I do believe, in spite of my Gojo glazing habits, I believe that even without the 10 shadows, Sukuna would put up a good and much different fight against Gojo. He probably would have been a lot less reckless. But with Sukuna knocked out, we see that the wheel does fall. It falls straight from Sukuna's head, which makes sense, right? And we see it falls, and it specifically clatters against the ground first. Like, that makes perfect sense to me. Because one, it doesn't fall into a shadow anywhere. Like, notably, the only shadow that the wheel falls into is its own shadow, which shouldn't do anything. But also, since Sukuna's knocked out, which is, I'll admit, once again, the Sukuna slopper in me, it is very metal that Sukuna, he's knocked out, but he's still standing. Like the fact that he got clocked with a Black Flash, but he's still, like, holding firm is pretty metal. If I got clocked with a Black Flash, I would have been... Like, maybe he's in the midst of falling, but it looks like he's managed to keep on standing after all this time. And we see that the wheel falls. It clatters against the ground uselessly, like you would think it would. And then something weird happens. So the wheel, despite Sukuna being knocked out, manages to get its final spin. It lands on the ground. You can literally see it make impact with the ground. It bounces off the ground, but then it spins one last time. And from nowhere, the wheel, I guess, disappears into the shadows, and Gojo's unable to react. And he gets locked into the shadows, almost as if something from the darkness grabbed his feet through the infinity. And we see that apparently that didn't happen, because I guess Gojo just fell into the shadow realm. Because a big old hand reaches out, is like, hey there, buddy. Heard you were the strongest. Like, it goes to grab him. And ironically enough, Mahoraga's divine execution blade, it looks a little small. Does anyone else find that weird? Like, it looks a little tiny. Like, Mahoraga's hands look appropriately sized. He looks appropriately massive. But, like, the blade seems a little bit short. Like, it seems barely... It feels like the blade should be, like, this long extending from it. Or, like, something like this. But it's, like, only extending from this point. I don't know. The blade seems a little bit tiny. But everyone realizes what's up. Yuta and Yuji scream sensei as Mahoraga reappears from the shadow. And unfortunately, since Mahoraga has adapted to the entirety of the limitless technique, especially the neutral limitless, Gojo is unable to react and he gets grabbed. And we see that Mahoraga secures him in place, he grabs him by the torso, and then boom, a slash directly. But I can't exactly... I think the slash is in the shoulder, torso? It's weird. Like, I can't exactly tell where the slash is. But Mahoraga comes out. A big old grin on his face. And that is where the chapter ends. Gojo has his own life spewed across his face. And there's no break next week. So, let me take a little sip real quick. Got a little bit to discuss. Number one, is it Gojo over now? How do you say it, Gojo? How do you do the Gojo over stuff? Like, I have no idea. I personally don't think so. I don't. Mainly because Mahoraga didn't decapitate him. Like, here's the thing. I 100% believe if Mahoraga went straight for the neck, if, to quote Thanos, he should have gone for the head. But he didn't. I think Mahoraga made a dual-layered mistake here. Number one, he didn't go for the head, which is very, very crucial. We see Gojo note this way back when he was like, what, 17, I do believe? That if you want to execute him, you got to go for the head. So Gojo could likely just heal this damage off, even if it's going to take him a little bit because he's shell-shocked. But two, Mahoraga let him go. Notice that. Like, we see, to land the initial cut, Mahoraga does a smart thing. It grabs Gojo, holds him in, and then reels him in with the blade, and then slashes him. But Mahoraga, upon slashing him, lets him go. And I think this is where Mahoraga's more bestial tendencies is actually going to get Sukuna a bit in trouble. Because it's a divine general. It knows how to fight. But I don't think it can fight to the same level that Sukuna does. And with that being the case, with Gojo being let go, there are multiple ways that Gojo could get out of this scenario. Number one, leave. Like, I hate to say it, but legit just leave. Like just get out of there. And I know that's... I've been saying this since the start of the fight. But, like, Gojo has no real reason to stay and engage with Mahoraga. Unless, option number two, he hits Mahoraga with a maximum right now. Just to see if it works. Like, he could just throw it out to see if it works. Obviously, domain expansion is off the table for numerous reasons. Reason number one, Mahoraga's immune. Reason number two, but which you could argue is reason number one, brain damage. So, like, Gojo can't do a domain right now. So all that's left that we haven't seen from Gojo, we've seen everything else now. We've seen domain. We've seen altered domains. We've seen red. We've seen blue. We haven't seen much of purple, but we saw purple at the start. And we've seen him enhance himself with red, enhance himself with blue. We've seen him do all types of things, but we have not seen a maximum. And Kenjaku believes that every special grade should have at least one maximum, which makes sense. So Gojo could whip up the maximum right now, drop it on Mahoraga's dome piece, and that could get Mahoraga up out of here. However, with that being the case, there's also a third option. Instead of just running with himself, which he could very easily do, just go, because Mahoraga's adapted to the limitless. That does not mean the limitless is shut down. Mahoraga is standing in front of a knocked out King of Curses. This is the scenario that Sukuna probably didn't want and that Gojo did want. Sukuna being incapacitated. If Gojo's able to move quick enough, he could teleport behind Mahoraga. And by the time Mahoraga turns around, he's gone. Because we know we know that Gojo can teleport across wide enough distances without actually using hand signs. We see this when he grabs Yuji for the Jogo fight. It's entirely possible for him to do that. And now that Sukuna is essentially neutralized, presumably, his eyes are whited out, he does appear to be knocked out, the wheel did clatter against the ground. Right now, there is no reason to stay and engage. Like, Gojo, I know you may like Fire Emblem, dog, but you want to disengage right now. Fighting Mahoraga is essentially pointless. I don't think this is the time to intervene. Maybe you want to fight it, but even then, I think there's maybe a secret byproduct of if Mahoraga does get destroyed, it could just make the rest of the 10 shadows much stronger. Or even worse, it could give all the 10 shadows the adaptation that Mahoraga has gotten. I think that's the secret, that's the secret part of Mahoraga. If Mahoraga is destroyed while actually under the user's control, it'll give all adaptations it has to the other Shikigami, which could, well, you know, I may like that because that could get all the Shikigami into the fight now, which I would very much appreciate. But at the same time, that wouldn't be good for Gojo. So, do I believe that Gojo's cooked by the end of this chapter? No. I think he's in trouble, but he's been in trouble at the end of literally every single chapter. I don't, like, at least after, the thing that's got me with so much faith in Gojo is, one, because he's the strongest, and two, because this is not the first time, and it's probably not going to be the last time in this fight. I don't think the fight's over next chapter. This is not going to be the last time in this fight that Gege pulls this nonsense. After I saw the slash and everyone lose faith there, and then I saw the next slash and everyone lose faith there, like, I don't know, I just have faith. Like, I'm wise to Gege's tricks at this point. Until I see Gojo literally done, like, laid out on the ground, over, really Gojo over, I'm not believing it. You can't fool me, Gege. I got faith. And with that being the case, I think right now we're just finally going to get, at worst, Sukuna dies. Or not Sukuna. Gojo gets got next chapter. And that's it. The end. Now everyone else needs to jump in and take out Mahoraga, which would be nice. Or what I believe, we're just going to get Gojo versus Mahoraga, finally. Fantastic. I really want to see this, so please give it to me. I want to see how Mahoraga's immunity has worked, the levels to it. Can it eat purples? Can it eat reds? Can it eat a maximum? I want to see all that. So hopefully that's what Gege's cooking next week. I'm super duper excited, and I wonder, what's next for Sukuna? If he's genuinely knocked out, how long is it going to take for him to recover? Is he going to subconsciously RCT himself away from the black flash damage? Is it going to take him a few minutes to wake back up? I really want to know, because he's, once again, we never see him fall in this chapter, so he's still maybe like either subconsciously active, which is what allowing Mahoraga to be active, or maybe he is just knocked out. I'm very interested to see next week's chapter already. I know these are just the raws, but I'm very interested to see next week's chapter. However, this chapter is definitely worthy for me. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love seeing Gojo cook. I love seeing the return of Black Flash. I love seeing Mahoraga spawning out in the battlefield. And I'm super duper excited to see the strongest get to work. However, that's what I think. Please, what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure the notifications so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support for as low as $1 a month. You can link exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is, in fact, Manga the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a very big thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays and Red Bull 4765. I'd like to give another very big thank you to our $5 patrons, Alex Ice Rose, Art Goon, DemXLND, Midnight Gemlord, Red Bull 4765, and Sean. I'd like to give another very big thank you to our $10 patrons, Demokami, Joaquin, and Ravi Uchiha. I'd like to give another gargantuan thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose.